What's up, everyone? Welcome to Test Your Might, the weekly video game debate show. Join Joe, Cicero, Justin, and myself, Mike, along with some special guests as we debate all things video games. If you would like to support us, please share, subscribe, and leave a review. Now, enjoy the show.
Welcome back, all of our fans. This is Test Your Might, the number one video game debate show, episode number 64 coming at you. We've got Cicero Holmes in the house. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Justin? More importantly, how's your mother doing?
She's doing fantastic. Fantastic.
Oh, say hi to your mother for me.
I shall do so.
All right.
I shall do so. And then we have none other than one of the special guests that we've had in the past to come back and fight against Cicero, one of our lead questionnaire blind fight request givers that makes some great fights that we have on the show. Sean, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to win again. I actually have a plug this time. It's wild.
Oh,
wow. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, Cicero is coming off of a loss, so you're in the best seat right now to keep that train rolling on that loss train.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to like add to his misfortune. Maybe I gotta hold off a little bit today.
Whoa, no. Please give me your best. Give me your best.
Oh yeah.
We can, I can afford to take some hits, but I will say, Duck, that I've been told. Right, The streets have come back and told me that I'm still the people's champion. That there were some. The streets came and they told me that they had some problems with your adjudicating from the last episode. But look, you're not going to hear any complaints out of me. I'm just telling you what the people are telling me.
Hey, Charles brought the fire, and he'll be back to bring it again, I'm sure.
Yeah. Shout out to Charles Singletary Jr. at Charles Wrights Now on Twitter. Yeah. He's that dude. He's that dude. But I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Well, Sean is back, and Cicero is ready to go to try and reclaim the throne that he lost last week, unfortunately. But unfortunately, the streets aren't the ones who make the judgments in this Test Your Might.
Wow.
So we can have some more guests on and see how they hold against you. But unfortunately, Mr. Charles beat you. We'll continue here. This is, again, the Test Your Might number one video game debate show. We've got reviews. If you wanted to leave us a review on any of the podcatcher of choice, go ahead and give us that. Give us 5 stars on Spotify. We're trying to get 100 stars. And on YouTube, if you're watching this, hit the like, the bell, give us the subscribe, leave us a comment, let us know how we're doing. Let us get that custom name tag so we don't have to have all the random letters and numbers in our name. We could just send you guys a link at the 90s First or Test Your Might. We coming at you. We got this. So we got some housekeeping today. First of all, we're going to have an episode of the new show Bel Air, which is on Paramount Plus, or Peacock, I believe, Peacock. And we're going to be doing a review of that, probably the first few episodes or the first episode at least. We'll be getting that out to you shortly. And then we have a very special announcement today. We've got Chris Clow.
Chris Clow,
Chris Clow, a guest of the show, huge comic book fan, coming back to talk about the new Batman with us, coming up in the near future here. The new Batman with the Twilight guy, Robert Pattinson.
The new Batman without the new. It's called the Batman, the not new Batman,
the question mark Batman.
Right. That was a TV show, The Batman, but now it's a movie, The Batman.
Yeah, well, anything's better than Batman and Robin, so we're gonna try and get something good in here and see what we can do. Unless Arnold Schwarzenegger makes a guest appearance, I'd be down. Right. It's kind of cold outside; he could freeze. Okay, so we also have the GG app for game reviews. We have been putting out some reviews, games we've been playing. Halo Infinite is up. Another game that I played, we'll talk about a little later, is up. And when we're going to be posting a few other games coming out, Psychonauts, the original review, coming to you in the near future. So let's get into it. let's see what we've been playing. Now, I know, Cicero, you've been playing the PlayStation game about aging out. How you doing in that? Are you still playing Sifu?
Sifu is Sifu kind of like my plan was to play more Sifu today, and I haven't. So I'm still 45, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, mid 40s, and at right around the third boss. But Sifu is a great game. It's a lot of fun. It's a game that kind of is like right in my sweet spot because the first time that I get through it cumulatively, I'll probably have to play it for 5 or 6 hours to get through my first playthrough, to wind up beating the game. But it's a game that I can go back, right? Hopefully, but it's a game that I can go back and continue to play. And as I play it, I'll become more proficient in it, and I'll be able to do more things in it, and it will get, being able to finish it will be a quicker experience for me, much in the same way that like Hades is, but it'll be a kind of a different game because of the way that you're able to go through it in the same way that Hades is, but it's going to be less of a different game than Hades is because it's not procedurally generated.
Yeah.
So you know where all the enemies are going to be, you know where all the turns are going to be, and it's just your aptitude and your ability to utilize your moves better and the mechanics better that makes the experience quicker going forward. But still, fantastic game. Really, really great game.
I've heard a lot of good things for sure.
It is a blast to play. So while I didn't get a chance to play that, I did play some Madden. I played some 2K. Lots of sports titles for me. UFC. There have been a couple of new titles that have made it to downloadable stores recently in the last week, but I have not partaken in either of the two really big games. They don't really kind of fall into my gaming wheelhouse, but I know that between the two of you have played those games, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys what experiences you've had that will make me kind of break my traditions and spring for one or maybe both of these games.
All right. Over to you, Sean. How have you been? What have you been playing?
I've been good. I've been playing two things, but playing them too much. Destiny 2 just dropped a new season and an expansion. And the game's good. I know I just talked a bunch of crap about it, like just being kind of like mediocre on all fronts, during the game of the year's show we did. But it's kind of like starting to be more than that to me. It's more than just like a fun thing to just like talk to friends and like catch up with people from around the country where I don't get to see otherwise. The story,
the Witch King, right? The Witch King,
Witch Queen. There was like a Taken King, which is their brother and sister or whatever. But the lore in Destiny has always been like interesting to me, even when I didn't play it. Like I knew it was something I'd be into, but it's never been like in the game very much until Destiny 2, and then increasingly over like the past year. Which, lucky me, that's when I started hopping in. It's like been getting more and more like in the game, and I'm just excited to see them increasingly interact with what is basically just two cosmological forces arguing about the prisoner's dilemma, and that impacting everyone in the universe. So
yeah,
it's good. Guns are good. It's fun. They did like a difficulty thing this time around for the campaign where you can like choose 1 or 2 difficulties.
Oh, really?
Okay.
And the hard difficulty was like actually challenging in a way that was satisfying and not unfun for like 98% of it. So
okay,
yeah,
I've never got into Destiny 2. I know I played the first one a little bit, but the grind is what scares me away. Just like MMOs, I just can't. It's the grind.
Yeah, that's fair for sure. And then other than that, I've been playing Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
because
What's that?
I have the souls. I have the souls burden. I bear the curse. I am tarnished, etc.
Well, I haven't told our other co-host this, but if he were to log on to his Xbox, he does have Elden Ring available to download right now.
Oh.
Well, I would not tell him because he's busy doing something else very much more important, which is also the other game I've been playing vicariously through him. But
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It is the greatest game of all time.
yeah.
That is where he is right now.
Yep.
Man, there's so much. It was so great. You know that game. We know that game super well.
Well, when he's done with that, Elden Ring is available.
There you go. All right.
If he listens. I'm not going to tell him otherwise.
There you go. That's perfect. Wonderful.
Other than Elden Ring, that's it? No other games? Well, those 2 games take up a lot of time. I understand.
Those 2 games. I played Nobody Saves the World real quick.
Yeah.
That was a quick Game Pass game. Had some interesting relationships with grinding. Where it was all about grinding, but they took pains to do it in a way where it wasn't soul sucking, and it was doing something interesting with it. Where it's one of those games where it teaches you how to play through achievements, except the achievements for this were just unlocking. You have little forms you could turn into, and you can upgrade them by doing very specific tasks with them, which sometimes included later on, which you can mix and match abilities between classes, and doing that. The challenges put in front of you to level up each class by doing things consecutively taught you how to mix and match really well, and then even the story itself was still kind of a commentary on it, so it was pretty interesting. It was fun. It was a good Game Pass game for sure.
Oh yeah, it's crazy how many hidden little gems that if Game Pass didn't, we've said it before, if Game Pass didn't exist, we would miss out on so many little gems that are just released alongside big titles that we would have never had a chance to play unless we were looking. For myself, I know I've spoke a little bit in the past. I played a game, came out the same day as Elden Ring did, called Martha is Dead.
She is?
And,
oh no.
Yeah, it was a trip. It was a very, very well story-driven game. Had you wondering, guessing, scared out of your mind, enjoying every moment of it throughout the end. And it was good. I called it, I believe in my review, a masterpiece of the psychological thriller genre. It is 5 out of 5 in my book. Full review is on our GG app. It was up the day after it released. Go check it out. It has no spoilers. I am not a spoiler freak, so I will not reveal anything that is a mystery for you guys. Phenomenal game. $30 doesn't do it justice. It deserved more, in my opinion. Other than that, I picked up Elden Ring and just been playing some more Apple Arcade games, just enjoying my time. And that leads us right into the news. Some big news. I don't know if you guys are planning on getting one. I have been kind of teetering about it, and even more so now. The Steam Deck is out.
Yeah.
It's getting amazing reviews from what I can hear. It's been called one of the best pre-made computer designs ever. And Valve is open to getting Game Pass on the machine. So you're going to have your Steam library and your Game Pass library as well. How do you guys think about that? Go ahead, sis.
I am not bullish on the Steam Deck.
No.
There's kind of a reason that you play your PC games, and I realize that a lot of there are very few now PC games and console games, right? Where that line has been blurred, and most games are just games now, and it's just where you decide to play those games. But there's kind of a reason that you play your games, those types of games, on your PC, because the rig has the power, because your monitors have the fidelity, all of those things. And I may sound like an old man when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I like playing I like playing my console games on my big TV. I like playing my PC games on my high resolution monitor and, you know, the machine that I spent thousands of dollars to play those things. So I don't want necessarily a portable machine that takes me away from those things, right? Like if I was traveling a lot, if that was something that was happening, then maybe I could find a use case for it. But as it currently stands, I can't really find a use case for wanting the Steam Deck in my life or having the need for the Steam Deck to be in my life. But having access to Game Pass via Steam is something that I do find value in, right? Like figuring out ways to consolidate my games library to one or just a few portals is preferable to the way that it is currently, right? You go on your PC and you're like, oh man, I want to play X game. All right, well, is it in my Microsoft games? Is it in the Microsoft games library? Or is it on Epic? Or is it on Steam? Oh no, it's on the Ubisoft thing. I got to use the Uplay thing. I got to log into that with the password. Oh, 2-factor authentication. Like, just give me fewer places to look, right? Consolidate that stuff. And if everybody gets a little piece of the action monetarily, then everyone can feel better about it. I don't care. But like what I do care about is not having to have to figure out where on my PC I need to go, what app I need to get into in order to play the game that I want to play. I just want to play it.
No, I hear you completely. You know, I might be prophesizing again here, and I know Sean's on the screen here, and he's gonna hear me say this craziness, but I've been wanting an app that just consolidates all of your streaming content. Yeah. I'm talking about Netflix and Paramount and Hulu and Disney Plus. Just throw it all in one app and have it all linked. So it's like Movies Anywhere. Right. You know, you can just log into that app and it routes everything in one search engine. It's,
you know, like if they were all on just one cable. Yeah. Right? Like if you just put them on one cable.
You know, just pay $50 a year and boom, they're all on one app.
Right. And you could just, you know, like you could Comcast them together.
Sean, how do you now Cicero, the Steam Deck can be docked, so a lot of people are talking about it being able to use it on the couch with a controller. Sean, what do you think about that? That's you know, that's the option. Cicero wants to sit in front of his high-res computer, but some people want to sit on their couch and dock it and use a big screen. How do you feel?
I mean, that works. I mean, that's how people use the Switch already. That's that. But I mean, I have the use case for couch in front of me handheld. Mm-hmm. I have it in my brain, and it's fine that it's out there for Cicero. But sometimes there's games that make me just want to read a lot.
Yeah.
And I like to be snuggled up cozy on my couch with that on there. One of the things that like drastically changed, like my input with a certain section of games, especially like visual novels and such, is that my laptop that I'm using right now to record has to be on life support constantly. It doesn't have a screen. So a lot of the games I was using specifically on my laptop that I could play, like low impact games that like, again, usually require a lot of reading, but also if I was like emulating games that are definitely owned already, but I just preferred to have them on my laptop, I could just sit there on my thing, but then my screen went away and I stopped playing those sort of games because I didn't want to like have it up on my big screen TV all the time. It just felt different. The vibes were off. And then there are, again, certain smaller games that like you get on Steam or, I've read that on Steam Deck, you can like you basically just make it a Windows machine and get other things on there anyway. Those games don't exist on any other console, so get them in my lap. My hands.
How do you feel about like you've got Razer and you've got Alienware and they've been building PCs for years now, and Valve just comes out and is like, here you go, here's a Steam Deck, and it's better than anything you've ever made, apparently. And I think that makes you feel you've been doing this for years, and they just are like, you know what, we're gonna do something different, and it's better. Jeez. It's gotta stink.
Yeah.
Cicero's like, I'm not getting one of those. I like it on me.
I mean, yeah, like there isn't really a use case for me to get one, but Sean has articulated the perfect use case for it, right? You've got a PC that's not, it's not a gaming, like my nephew is talking about, he's 13 years old. He's been a console gamer, but him and his friends are getting to the point now where they're growing up, and they're not necessarily growing out of the console, but they want to be able to experience some of the games that are only available or are better on PC. They're playing a lot of MMOs, or they're playing games that are MMO like Ark Survival and those types of games. And they're clearly better on PC. There's the mod community and that kind of stuff. And he wants to be able to experience those things, and his friends are going and they're experiencing those things via these gaming PCs. And he wants to build a gaming rig, and he wants to do all that kind of stuff. But he's 13, he'll be 14. He doesn't have a job. I don't know where he's going to get the $1,200 or $1,300 that it's going to cost him to build a rig that would even begin
remotely
to compete, right, with the types of things that he wants to be able to do. But for $400 for a Steam Deck, he could get a Steam Deck, and have most of those experiences. Now, he won't be able to necessarily build mods on using that Steam Deck, but he'll be able to experience those mods. And he'll be able to do a lot of the things that he wanted to build a PC to experience via doing it via the Steam Deck for a fraction of the cost. So that's definitely a use case for why the Steam Deck makes sense. More power to everybody who gets one and enjoys one and finds a place and a space for it. Happy for you. It ain't for me.
Cicero, you said mods, and now all I can think of is I need to go get a Steam Deck immediately so I can play Mod Slay the Spire anywhere.
There you go. So pricing it looks like is $3.99. There's 3 SKUs.
Sold out completely.
Yeah, but there's a black market for them, right?
Yeah, but for PlayStation too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So the 3 SKUs, the smallest SKU is $3.99 for a 64 gigabyte model, $5.29 for a 256 gigabyte model, and $6.49 for a 512 gigabyte model. So you can get up to half a terabyte for $650. And it seems like the only difference between the 3 SKUs is storage. Everything else will be the same in terms of the internal components, so it's just the storage that changes. Do we know if there's external?
I think there's going to be upgradable storage, so you're able to probably get it up to a terabyte or more in the near future. That's just releasing now, but I'm sure that'll happen in the near future for sure. I was just thinking of something. Xbox is working on getting Game Pass on the Valve machine, but currently there's already Sony games on there.
Right.
Because you've got God of War and you've got Forbidden.
Yeah, you got Horizon Zero Dawn.
Zero Dawn, yeah. Not Forbidden West,
No.
Zero Dawn. Yeah. But you've got that on the go already.
Right.
That's interesting. That'll be a system just like the PC, obviously, that would be it would be a multi-plat platform.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, as it stands, if you can access a browser from the Steam Deck, then you can play Game Pass games already.
Yeah, just like you do on the iOS.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all that stuff is great. All that stuff is great. Like, whatever whatever we can do to make it easier for people to play the games that they want to play, I'm all for. It doesn't have to be for me to say it's good or it isn't. I just said, I think it's great for people. It's just not for me.
No, I hear you.
Right.
This is the guy from Hello Neighbor. Coming at you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I've already got. I've got
the TV smashed. The goose ruined it. We know.
Right.
We know.
I've got a Switch around here somewhere. I haven't seen it in 5 months.
It's probably in the lake. Ask Charles.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Damn goose came and stole my Switch.
Yeah. If you guys are wondering what that is, go watch our last Test Your Might episode, the blind fight specifically. It was a killer fight. Hilarious all the way to the end.
You gotta go back.
Speaking of Test Your Might, great segue into our namesake of the show. Are you guys ready for Test Your Might?
Test your might.
Yeah, I got time.
Oh, you don't even need to focus. Sean is ready. On to the first category here. Fight number 1. Talking about Street Fighter 6. Just got released, or not released, but announced. And the logo design was kind of mediocre. And fans are not too excited about it. Not too excited about it. So I want you guys to fight over which logo is the worst logo in all of history, not including Street Fighter 6, of course. And Cicero, you did lose last time, but we do have a special guest today.
Wow.
Sean, you get first pick. Or the choice to give that torch over to Cicero before it burns.
No, I got this.
Okay.
Resident Evil 6. It's bad.
Resident Evil 6, yes. Okay. Cicero, go ahead with yours, and then we'll go back to Sean for the fight.
Logos are hard, but I'm going to take you guys back to when logos were the worst, because they didn't in any way, shape, or form inform the consumer of what the game that they were getting. And so true. I am going with Yar's Revenge from the 2600.
Okay. For the logo.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Rogue, you can do some clickety clacks to bring up Yar's Revenge, unless you've played it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that game specifically. I also enjoyed kind of Resident Evil 6. Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead and fight that. Why is Yar's Revenge not as bad as?
We're doing a box art. We're doing a box art fight now. Okay.
Well, that's the logo.
The logo.
I know. It's
no, I can still do this. I just putting what's out there. Resident Evil 6. I missed this whole controversy. I was looking back at it, doing research, and apparently it was at least on certain corners of the internet there was a big controversy about this that I just completely missed because I didn't care about Resident Evil 6 at the time. But it's just a mutated giraffe and Resident Evil in really lame font, and it's just false advertising. I haven't played Resident Evil 6, but I guarantee that there's not a mutated giraffe in that game, and you shouldn't be lying to your customer base like that. Simple as that.
Wait, I thought the Resident Evil 6 logo, the box art, was just like a spider web 6 with cobwebs all over the place.
Yeah,
it looks like a giraffe.
Lines, it definitely looks like
you should look at that. You should pull the logo up. It looks like it is supposed to be invoking. Actually, it looks more crystalline to me, but that big ol' 6 is just a giraffe.
It's just a giraffe. Okay, yeah. I am looking. There is a giraffe. It's clearly a giraffe. But that giraffe is scary. Is it my turn to fight?
Yeah. Oh, you. It's a fight.
It's my turn to fight. So that giraffe is scary because if you look at that giraffe, its head is facing the opposite direction. That is a zombie giraffe. Look at that giraffe's head. That giraffe's head is not moving naturally. That is that's terrifying. Those people are wrong.
Those people are.
Yeah, okay. All right, go ahead, Sean. Defend your giraffe broken neck.
I mean, here's the thing. Giraffes actually do that. They get their head go round. And yeah, I agree. Like, a zombie giraffe would be scary. It's just not in the game. And like, as depicted, it doesn't look like it doesn't look that terrifying. Yeah, it's like looking over, and it like might be swiveling like a exorcist lady, but I'm not really like getting those vibes from here, especially with its like legs kicked in the way it is. It looks like it's just kind of chilling and trying to be cute and not even succeeding at that.
I don't know. I mean, art is subjective. I get that. I get that part. But people tried. I think what was happening with RE6 here is that people were actually low-key scared of this. And you know how when you're really scared about something, you make a joke about it to try and make it less scary so that you can actually get through it? I think that's what people were doing with this logo, that they knew that they were going to be terrified by Resident Evil 6, so they were trying to make it less scary by saying that the logo was a giraffe. On the other hand, right? We've spent a lot of time talking about Resident Evil 6. On the other hand, Yars Revenge, you look at that art for Yars Revenge, there is a dragonfly fly of some sort with pincers and a weapon, and it is shooting out of its snout. And I don't know if that's you. I don't know if that's the Yar. I don't know if that's the thing you're getting revenge on. But whatever it is, none of that was in the game. The game was pixels. It was 1 dot or 7 dots put together using dots to shoot at other dots. So I don't know.
Sean, rebuttal?
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't want to make this type of argument, but it's called art. They're being evocative with this, and I'm looking at screenshots of the game right now. Yeah, it's pixels, but all games are just pixels. Like, you clearly are. It's conveying everything you need to know about this game, except making it just again more evocative. You're going to be fighting bug-like looking pixels. You're going to be shooting guns. If you played any of the other games like this around then, you know what you're going to get from it, except you also got this cool box on your shelf, and you're just shooting big bugs. And
are you
vaguely get that out of the pixels.
Or are you the bug that is shooting? That is the question. What is it that you're doing? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? There is just like you
play the game to find out.
You do play the game.
Play to see what happens. Play to find out what happens.
I played the game. That's
a tenet I usually just stick to in tabletop RPGs, but it applies here too.
Right.
It's good marketing.
Yeah. I played it, but I remember looking at the art, thinking about, oh, this is going to be the game. And then I played the game, and I said, well, where's that game? Where's the game on the box? That's not the game on the box. I don't know where that game is, but this game is a different game. It's got lines in the middle that are multiple colors.
Awesome.
They're like, you play as like a giant Y that's on its side. Like,
I know Star Wars. I get it.
I don't know what it is or how you do it, but I do know that like Exorcist Giraffe is scary. Resident Evil is scary. This is the 6th game in the series. It's probably gonna be scary. Yars is getting revenge. Are we getting revenge on Yars? What's the revenge? All right, I'm gonna call it, guys.
I'm gonna call this one.
Fair.
From Resident Evil 6, terrifying giraffe. As soon as Sean said Resident Evil 6, immediately a giraffe popped in my head because I know the logo. I'm gonna have to give it to Sean on this one because his is the logo, yours is the box art. So unfortunately, I was going to let you stretch the rules to allow it, but it was just way too one-sided in the logo sense of the giraffe for you, Cicero.
How is the box art not the logo?
That's the box art for the display. It's not a logo for the game.
So what's the logo for Yar's Revenge?
There is no.
It's that lame font where it says "Yar's Revenge" in red.
Technically, it's the name of the game for Atari.
Or yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, it switches out. It switches out.
I found a Yar's Revenge patch. I would argue that a patch is a logo.
Cool one
it is there. The same as the box art.
Cicero, unfortunately, you lost the first round. On to round 2.
All right.
Oof.
I
would have given it. Yeah. Oof. All right.
We have round 2. Elden Ring. We were talking about that earlier. Is huge. Right. 10 out of 10. Almost everywhere you look. It's drawing a lot of comparisons to Breath of the Wild. What is the best game that gets compared to another game? And Cicero, you first.
All right. Here's a game that I mentioned earlier today. This game is a roguelike. So this roguelike is Hades. That is most favorably compared to a roguelike, and they're called roguelikes because there was a game called Rogue where you did roguelike things. The first roguelike was called Rogue.
Okay. Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
I debated the strategy as well. I debated the strategy as well. I'm deciding how controversial I want to be here.
You do whatever you'd like. Please don't confuse the viewers and listeners.
No. I'm gonna go. No, let's go. I'm gonna go with Speedrunners. I'm gonna go with Obscurity. My 2 modes, either infuriating or obscure.
Okay. And are you going with Speedrunner?
Speedrunners.
The game?
Yep, Speedrunners the game.
Oh, okay.
Not the hobby.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead,
what
Cicero.
So what is Speedrunners most?
I should say what it's compared to.
Yeah.
It is compared to Mario Kart.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
It's basically all games are marketed at some point as this plus this.
Right.
Media is really. This one is basically just Mario Kart, but platformer.
Okay.
Well, so I've got to argue how my roguelike Hades is like the roguelike Rogue. Well, so back in the day, there was a game called Rogue. It was on the NES, and
1980.
It was very, very difficult. And you would play the game, and you would earn different things, and have different weapons, and you kept playing until you got better. But you'd have to start over all the time because it was hard, and there were no saves. And but you could keep getting better and better at the game and make it all the way to the end because you got better at the game. But now roguelikes have gotten much more advanced and much more complicated, and I think the greatest example of the modern roguelike happens to be Hades. And Hades is brilliant in the way that it takes all of those things that were popularized in or innovated upon on that first game from 40 years ago and makes them even better than you can imagine.
60. No, 40. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
60 years ago. Jesus.
60. Whoa.
Crying out loud, man.
I got distracted. I read the word Star Trek, and I got.
I think we need a new judge. I don't know. Not that you're incapable. Not that you're bad. It's just you might be a little tired out.
All right,
Right.
Speedrunner. Actually, non-sponsor Ghost energy drink. This is the Swedish fish flavor. Phenomenal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Does it taste like Swedish fish?
It does, phenomenally.
It turns green. Wow, that's impressive.
Go ahead, Sean. Speedrunner. How is it?
Okay.
How is it more relatable to speedrunning Mario Kart than roguelike Rogue?
Okay.
Is to
So
Hades?
Mario Kart, we all know what it is. You are racing your friends with a colorful cast of characters. And at least in the earlier ones, it was basically everyone had mostly the same stats. You are trying to get into first place, but in order to do that, you have to, outperform your opponents through tracks, but also be able to use and avoid items that could do a deleterious thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Speedrunners is that, except 2D. And if you take too long, the viewing screen gets smaller and smaller, and then you win by kicking your friend off the stage. That's the innovation, on the Mario Kart formula. In addition to, returning, what would be Mario to his original roots. So there's the connection to the Mario Kart thing. It's basically the same thing, just 2D. But the reason why it is, the best game that is also referred to as something else is because it takes what Mario Kart's doing and removing the thing a lot of people. It's like not hardcore Mario Kart, but it is skewing towards the more competitive side of that community. Mm-hmm. Taking out the blue shell, there's no equivalent to that. But also the items are more skill based. To use. There's no auto tracking that is super as useful as the shells. There's a rocket that is kind of comparable, but the way the levels are structured, there are places you can use it more incorrectly. There are the equivalent of boxes, but also those can be again utilized in more strategic ways than a Mario Kart. You can either drop it on someone right behind you. You can try to drop boxes because there's verticality in this game. You can try to drop boxes on people while they're climbing up a staircase, and timing is super crucial. It's not just set it and forget it and hope someone runs into a box sometimes, because you're relying on someone else being a poorer driver than you. And the amount of stages, because it is on PC and customizable and moddable, beyond even just the regular stages that the devs made, are all really fun and exciting, and you can have cool, challenging things that you can do. And sometimes they're just gag things, but those are fun sometimes too. Also
available on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Been on Game Pass for a while.
Yeah.
It actually may not be on Game Pass anymore. It was on Game Pass for a long time.
Getting all reviewers and the listeners' hopes up, and then ripping it out from underneath them.
Look, man. Listen. I've been dealing with some. I've been dealing with some heartache here, so I'm just passing it along.
It's all good because they can get back up and try again in the next roguelike.
There you go.
Cicero, do you want to take any shots at the Speedrunners?
Speedrunners is a great game that I've never heard compared to Mario Kart. I do see the connection,
mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't say to somebody, "Oh, hey, you wanted to play Mario Kart? I don't have that, but let's play Speedrunners instead." It's just like it, but different, completely. All right, so it's not completely different, right? You still have power-ups. You're still in a race.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the similarities end. But, there are plenty of games where you are in a race and you have power-ups
mm-hmm.
that are more like Mario Kart than Speedrunners. I don't know if, I don't know if I would use Speedrunners as or if I would use Mario Kart as a comparison for Speedrunners if I was trying to describe it. I don't know. Maybe I would go with like N first, and then maybe Mario Kart. Like it's like N, it's a race kind of, maybe, I don't know. But if I was like, hey, I'm playing Hades, this roguelike, it's like Rogue. Like Rogue. This roguelike. And it's damn good. And that's where Hades is. It's a roguelike that's like Rogue. That's probably the best version of any game that's been like Rogue that's a roguelike ever. There you go. The end.
I'm gonna call it there. I'm tired of hearing rogue and like repeated in the same sentence over and over and over. I think dying and coming back is gonna win Cicero this one, simply because rogue is defined in the genre of roguelike, and unfortunately Speedrunners is defined in the genre of platformer. So, yes, there are similarities. I think if you would have gone with Mario Kart and Blur, that would be a great comparison. I don't know. Speedrunner, because of the platforming, it's different than Mario Kart, in my opinion. On the other hand, I'm not going to say Cicero's anymore because I'm tired of that word. We're going to go on to round 3, and it's 1-1. Sorry,
Hades.
listeners, for that. That was, Hades is great. Hades is a great game. The only thing I read about your game that you compared it to was that it said that permadeath was a design choice and characters do not respawn nor have anything brought back from a save state. They're a fresh character with, everything's procedurally generated each time, so it's different each gameplay, which is good. That is very close to Hades.
Know how to play.
The two like categorizations are likes, which are you have progress in between saves, and lights, which are more towards start fresh every time, but you are like learning about the game each time.
Yeah, that's good. I liked it. I might pick that game up or emulate it. I don't know. On to the next round 3. It's 1-1. This is an interesting one, and it includes one of my games I've been playing recently. Marvel and Fortnite are crossing over to a comic book. What video game that doesn't already have a comic presence should get one? And this could be a child game, or it could be an adult comic. There's plenty of comics ranges that you can choose from. Sean, you lost. Go ahead with your pick first, or hand off the torch.
Okay. I'm going to borrow your developer real quick, Cicero.
Okay.
I think Pyre, the third game from Supergiant Games, should be a comic.
Okay. Cicero?
So my comic would be great because every issue you'll be able to do something different and unique in the comic. And that is Agent 47, Hitman comic series.
Okay. Go ahead, Sean. Defend yours or fight against Agent 47. Barcode Man.
Alright, so Pyre is a game that is pretty much universally, everyone that's played it loves the characters in it, the story behind it, and the choices that it's making you do. But the one thing that people can't seem to agree on, myself included, is the actual gameplay of it. Like for the actual, so Pyre is, you're playing basically a sports ball team, that's, trying to, they're basically like, trying to ascend to somewhere, and, there's like this tournament, basically, that you have to do, and, of like, it's kind of like a basketballish game, and that's the part that's meh, is the actual mechanics of that game, but going through this, kind of really tattered world, grabbing companions, and trying to form a team out of them, to try to achieve this goal, and then having to make the decisions of who gets cut, if you win, you get to pick someone to like actually leave the team and move on and achieve their goals. and that's pretty heartbreaking every time you get to achieve it. And other than that, it's kind of playing through a sports season. And the way that they do that Supergiant is, again, always are making like really cool characters, as we've all seen from Hades, and telling interesting stories weaved together with them, and you can translate that directly into a comic. The visual style, like comics can also do a lot of styles, but already the visual style of Pyre lends itself to comics. And again, you're kind of taking out the one key thing that wasn't really adding much through that actual like playing through the sports game. But when you're writing that, you can make it more interesting than it actually is in the game, and that's a plus to me.
To get Sean to talk about sports on Test Your Might, I'm amazed right now. Go ahead, Cicero. Why is Agent 47 better than that to comic?
I mean, so here is a guy who can have endless stories, right? Agent 47, he is the hitman. He is every man. The beginning of a comic, beginning of an issue, he gets a set mission where he has to take out someone in a place, and the issue is about how he accomplishes that goal, and some of the pitfalls that he may have during the course of trying to accomplish that. And what's awesome is that Agent 47 has a barcode on the back of his neck. Well, in this comic, each particular comic will have a unique barcode that you can pull up that will give you a digital version of that comic. But it only unlocks after you've purchased the comic itself. The comics will be sealed, so you can't just read through them on the comic shelf. You bring them home and you'll have a digitized version of the comic, so you can have like little quasi-animated cells of different things that are happening in the mission, or maybe you'll get some extras or a prologue or an epilogue for that particular adventure in each of the comics. But we know how Agent 47 is. We know kind of what he does. If you look at the most recent Hitman games that have been episodic, that'll kind of give you a sense of what the comic book will be like. But you'll have an overarching story for each volume of the comics.
Okay. Sean, you want to backlash on that and beat Agent 47 off the comic book?
I think I applaud new ways to interact with mediums. I like the idea behind the Agent 47 comic. I don't really know if it needs anything tied to Hitman for that. I think that's cool. But I mean, as far as interactive elements go that tie directly into what the game is like anyway, I was just talking about how you, as kind of like the coordinator of this team, get to choose who achieves. It's when you win the cup, you get to have someone achieve freedom, right? And an easy thing to do, maybe not easy, but something that is facilitated by how readers already interact with comics creators often, is either through pulling a favorite character or directly appealing to the readers through like the letters at the end. You can have the fans who are reading the story just decide, hey, if this, like, whoever wins, you don't spoil, of course, who's going to make it there. But beforehand, once you know who's going to be in the finales based on the story, you could have a poll to decide if either of these teams win, who achieves freedom, whose story you invested in, who you want to see this happen, and go on from there. Which doesn't take a lot of power from the author. It doesn't like write them into corners very often, I would imagine, because it's just like one character entering or leaving. But it is still allowing that participation and still evoking a lot of things from the game.
Okay.
So, Sean, you're saying that you, the viewer, you, the reader, would choose who gains freedom. So you would basically kind of inform the writers on what choices are being made in the next issue based on the polling from the previous issue.
It definitely sounds like if the Batman versus Superman movie had a poll before it came out and they were able to determine, I know that's a larger scale for movies and stuff, but that would make sense. So that way the audience was able to choose the ending before it was released.
Is that what
well, it's not even necessary. It's not, well, yeah, so it's not even necessary. You aren't deciding who wins. It's like, hey, we've had, like, I don't know, a few, like, each arc would be more than an issue, so you would have, like, months to, like, a month or two to take this in and then write it in.
Right.
But you know the finale is going to be, like, the Hawks versus the, like, glitter bags or whatever. I forget what the actual names of the teams are. They're much better than this. But if the Hawks win, which of these three characters would get to attain freedom? And then if the glitter bags win, which of these three attain freedom?
Right.
And then, because the nature of the world is that the rest of these teams keep playing because there's always someone else looking for freedom, you'll have, the story will then be inflected on that point based on, like, hey, who missed their opportunity, who had a friend that they had to reluctantly, like, let go, et cetera, et cetera.
I really like that idea. I like, again, like you like the interactivity of my idea. I like the interactivity of your idea as well. However, I do have a problem with it, right? And here's I think one of the differences in the way that we're implementing our interactivity. One is in the moment, and one is in perpetuity. The fact that you're asking readers to make a choice over a couple of months means that the readers have to be active at the time that the issues are being released, which is obviously optimal, right? But you're not necessarily guaranteed that that's going to happen. There are going to be readers that come to your stories after these choices have been made. And so they won't have the opportunity to participate in those choices. Now, hopefully it becomes a success and it's going on for so long that they can eventually catch up and be able to participate. And I'm sure that's going to be something that they're really looking forward to be able to participate and be active in the conversations that are making the decisions for the next issues and the next iterations of people to be freed. But they will just be witnesses to or just recounting the history as opposed to being witnesses and active participants in history. Whereas with Agent 47, with this Hitman comic, even the interactivity is timeless. So whenever somebody gains access to an issue and they click on wherever the barcode happens to be in that particular issue, and they hit it on their phone, they'll be able to watch whatever that piece of video, whatever that piece of content was, whenever they decide to go to it. And whenever they get to it, it will be just as fresh and just as relevant to them as it was to a person who read it the second the issue was available for purchase. And so everyone is still on the same page, and they're able to participate at the same level, irrespective to whether they got it day one or day 1001.
That's a fair point. I think that the situation you're describing is accurate, but it also losing my words here, but it also portrays a different way that people interact with games too. I can watch someone play Pyra or play Hitman, and I'm not making any decisions, but it's still, I'm witnessing the narrative in the same way anyone else that is witnessing it, and still feeling emotions and riding along with all of them. It's just, maybe I caught the VOD and I'm a little late, and it's just incentive to catch up, which marketers are going to love, publishers are actually going to love. And comics fans, like, yeah, if you can be late to things, but also, like, the fact that it is month to month and while, like, no one's gonna, like, drop off from it, so it's not like you will have an opportunity as long as it is still ongoing at some point.
Yeah,
it's just a different way to interact.
It is.
But
it is a different way to interact.
Slightly less interactive.
I think that your analogy falls a little flat because while yes, you can watch someone play Hitman or you can watch someone play Pyra and be emotionally connected to what's going on, that is not the same as reading the comic book and having there be a level of interactivity to that comic book that is only available at a particular time. And so that interactivity, that would be like there was time DLC for a game that you're playing that you missed out on, and now it's gone forever, right? And there are people that have been able, that had the opportunity to play that piece of content, and the only thing you can do with that content is read what happened. You can't interact with it at all. You got to keep playing the game, and now you've got to play the game even faster to catch up with people that are at the current pace of the game in order to achieve that piece of interactive content and get that time DLC and be able to play it and be a part of that. Which, you know, again, is a thing that you ultimately may want, but it kind of puts your game in a box, whereas, or it puts your game and puts your content in a box that is timed versus a box that is timeless.
I think Cicero's got this one. That was kind of the nail in the dagger, as Mike would say. I feel like the fact that you are able to interact with it no matter when, and you still feel like you're accessing some piece of content that you were given by the comic book, opposed from reading another story. Instead of choosing the ending, you're reading what other people chose as the ending after a while. And I also feel like the Hitman story would translate a lot easier into comic books and keep readers involved in the story. I feel like the sports stuff is good, but I don't think it would hold viewers for long after the season ends.
You're not listening to me. You didn't listen to me, Justin. It's not about the sports. The sports are just a medium to communicate the actual story. It's fine. I lost. I'll take the loss. But also, it's not about the sports. It's not about the sports.
Well, it's not about the sports. It's about the friends we made along the way.
It's never about, as far as I know, it's never about the sports, right? Even in real life.
Yeah,
you guys should know that as sports fans,
that's right.
From what I understand. But I'm an outsider. I don't know.
I would love to see Game of Thrones have a choose your ending to see who dies. That'd be great.
Oh,
I think fans would love that, and they would keep all their favorite characters instead of losing them all. I feel like that would do a good thing. I think Hitman would translate better, though, even if it's not about sports, I think it would translate better into storytelling with all the unique possibilities that he goes along. So, on to round 4, the blind fight.
Uh-oh.
You guys are gonna have fun with this one. I know Sean gives the good blind fights, but now Sean is participating in the blind fight, and Sean gets to pick first because he did lose that one. So choose wisely because it may determine your life or death in this battle.
I'm fine. I'm fine with. Look, I'm playing Elden Ring. I'm fine with death. That's fine.
Right. He'll just come back.
I will learn.
Right,
I'll learn from this defeat if it happens.
And I hope you guys go all out because it's up to you to set the boundaries around this fight. In honor of the new Pokemon being announced, this battle is between colors. So one of you will choose Scarlet, and one of you will choose Violet, and you will fight to the death on which color is better.
This hurts me in a way you don't even know. It's fine.
All the way into the Outer Wilds. I hope it hurts you.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
What would you would like Cicero to choose first, or would you like to choose first?
Cicero can choose.
All right, your choices are Scarlet or Violet.
Well, guys, I mean, clearly, right? I play a lot of Pokemon, right?
Oh yeah.
And my favorite version of the same exact game every single time is it ironically happens to be Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So the obvious choice though amongst those two very, very different versions is obviously Scarlet.
Now, this isn't about the Pokemon game itself. This is about the color.
The colors. This is about the color.
Just the color?
It's broader.
Not
it's
about
broader.
the game.
Yeah, don't
Not
contain
about
yourself.
the game.
Yeah, don't
To these games that don't even exist yet.
I know
These games don't exist yet. They don't exist yet.
I know
they just got announced.
I know the two colored games are completely different, but I want you to choose the color itself. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well,
you are not binded by just the game.
I am not binded by the game. Then yes, 100%. I am going with Scarlet. It is clear, which is why Pokemon Scarlet was my favorite anyway. I would have defended it anyway. It's because I have an affinity for Scarlet. Scarlet is the best.
Once it's released, Cicero will be buying Scarlet.
Sure, sure. Or who's to say I don't have it already?
Yeah.
NDAs. Sean, go ahead. You have Violet. It was your first pick, so you get to choose if you'd like to fight now first, or you could let Cicero run with you.
I think if Cicero's on a roll, I wouldn't want to stop that. I don't want to ruin his momentum.
Oh man! All right. Well, thank you so much. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for you after this loss. Listen. All right. You got to understand something, right? Scarlet is most closely associated with red, right? And what things are red? Stop signs, right? There is blood, that's red. But the greatest character in all of mythology is also red. His name is Peter Parker, or AKA Spider-Man. Also, Spider-Man had a clone. His name was Ben Reilly. Ben Reilly thought he was Peter Parker. He thought he was Spider-Man, but he realized he was actually Ben Reilly. He was not. He was the clone. So he took his uncle's first name and his aunt's maiden name, and he became Ben Reilly. But he also had the powers of a radioactive spider, so he became a hero as well. He became the Scarlet Spider. Scarlet is where it goes. You know what else is Scarlet? You know what else was Scarlet? Something I haven't been able to recreate. Something that I've always loved. One of the most mystifying things that any of us have ever experienced, if you were a kid when you experienced it like I did, was Episode 4. It wasn't called Episode 4 when I saw it. It was just called Star Wars, right? Subtitled A New Hope. It was just called Star Wars at that time. The very beginning of Star Wars, there is this giant battle with this small ship that gets raided and boarded by this big ship with this dude in all black. His name was Darth Vader. He had a deep, thick, authoritative voice. And he grabbed that captain and he held him up in the air. And he wanted to know what was going on, where the stolen plans were. And he asked this guy right before he broke his neck, "If this is a counselor ship, where is your ambassador?" And you look down at his boots, and his boots with this deep blood red scarlet. And I thought those boots looked so amazing, like that color. And it was from that moment that I said, 45 years from now, I will buy Pokemon Scarlet because of these boots.
So, from spiders to stop signs to a galaxy far, far away, how does Violet beat that story?
Well, I mean, I could beat it in 2 words. You invoked the Clone Saga as a thing of Scarlet being good. Huge mistake, first of all.
Oh,
Second of all, I'll just get into the actual merits of Violet. One, actually, hold up. Touch on the Star Wars reference. Yeah, Vader's got Scarlet, but Mace Windu has Violet. Come on, if it's good enough for Sam Jackson, it's good enough for the rest of us, right? Scarlet, Red, they all have negative connotations. You're hungry. You're seeing red, you're angry. If you're thinking about Violet, you've got beauty, you've got grace, you've got the power of nature, which is a nice, subtle, it's strong, don't mess with it, but it's here, and it can be comforting too. It's not an angry bull on the loose like something Scarlet is gonna be, or invoked on somebody. Violet's just here for you. Violet is, also, I thought I wasn't gonna talk about this, but these Pokemon games are clearly named after my first Blaze in the Dark tabletop RPG character. She was a hound in that system. She was a hunter named Violet, who had a companion character of a ghost flamingo named Scarlet. And I'm ready to sue Nintendo if they have a legendary flamingo. But anyway, Violet was a great lady who just wanted to get the job done and took great, astounding care of Scarlet. That wasn't necessarily true the other way around, Scarlet's got more, it was a good relationship, but, Scarlet could not be as caring of a partner as Violet could be, and I think that's true for the colors in general.
Wow.
That was symbolism.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'd like to provide a counterpoint, sir, if I may.
You can do whatever you'd like. You've gone everywhere already.
I haven't gone here, but I'm about to go there.
Okay.
Right? Who are these?
Can I just hold up for a second?
Yes.
You're preaching Scarlet right now, but you look a little more on the Violet side in your background right now.
Well,
I think we've already all made a choice.
That is because I am reflecting that color out for other people. If you look off to my left, which looks like my right, there is a scarlet light to let people know that I am recording, because that is Scarlet lets you know. You talked about negative connotations, but there is a positive connotation.
Yeah, I'm isolating myself.
There is business afoot, and not to interrupt that business because it's important. But here, let me take you on a little trip. We're in America, right? Peek behind the curtain, guys. We're in the United States of America. Who are the real American heroes? Do you know who a real American hero is?
Is it not the Redcoats?
No. It's G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is a real American hero. They say so within seconds, right? And who was a member of G.I. Joe? There were women in G.I. Joe. There was Lady J, and there was Scarlet, right? And they fought the forces of Cobra. When they shot at Cobra and they destroyed those Cobra Rattlers and the Hiss tanks, what color were their lasers? Were the G.I. Joe lasers? They were red. They were scarlet. Just like Scarlet. You don't get more American than G.I. Joe. And G.I. Joe's weapon of choice shot red lasers because red is positive. That's how you take down tyranny, with Scarlet. Scarlet is for freedom.
Go ahead, Sean.
I'm just worried because once again I'm talking about the aesthetics with Cicero, and he's bringing up guns, and I've had bad things with that before. I just think if you're turning to something to look up to, I don't think that violence and violent authority are the things to turn to. And if that's what if that's what Scarlet's bringing to the table, I don't want it.
Peace, can be achieved many ways. And one of the ways that peace can be achieved is unfortunately, through violence. You fight for freedom. Wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there. Who else wears scarlet? Spider-Man wears scarlet. He's a hero. Who else wears scarlet? Daredevil wears scarlet. He is a man without fear. He is out there with no fear because of the scarlet that surrounds him.
Any other things to add?
I'm gonna grab another
I think you'll
microphone so I
find-
can drop it.
I just think you'll find that plenty of villains are also wearing red, Scarlet even, perhaps the Red Skull, Darth Maul,
They're envious.
etc. All manner of devils. That's it.
They were envious of those heroes. They were trying to
Don't bring green into this.
They were trying to take that away from the true heroes. America.
I'm sorry, did Red Skull happen first or did Spider-Man happen first?
It was the first Avenger movie.
Yeah, that was the first Avenger movie. And yes, Red Skull did happen first, but Superman had his red cape first before the Red Skull.
Okay, I'm going to call it. Cicero, you lost.
No! What? No!
Yeah.
It's Scarlet.
It was great. It was great up until when you started talking about guns and how violence is the way to solve the problems. Because you said good comes from Scarlet, and you were literally talking about Darth Vader having red powers before that. So you contradicted me.
I didn't say he had red powers. I said the boots of the guy he crushed, whose esophagus he crushed, had awesome red boots.
Should have just stuck with stop signs and Scarlet Witch. and you would...
There you go, Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch, the one that got, over your head.
Right, yeah. I ain't worry about that.
Violet takes the win. That is a 2-2, which takes us to our bonus round, the Metacritic score of the day. Cicero, if you don't win this, you're on a losing streak. You're going to have to take a break.
Yeah, I know.
The game of choice comes from... no, this is Price is Right rules. Cicero, you get first guess to scream out your answer or write it down. No cheating. If you go over, it's closest to the score. If you go under, it's closest, obviously. The game is one of the first games to come out on Steam in honor of Steam Deck. The game is Half-Life. The original Half-Life.
The original Half-Life?
And that's going to be the Metacritic score.
Oh, man. As of today.
As of today.
Wow. Oh, man. Ugh. All right. I'm ready.
Okay. Sean, are you ready?
Yeah, I've got a number.
Okay. Go ahead, Cicero. What is it?
87.
Okay. Sean.
So funny. This is so good. 86.
The number was 96.
Whoa!
It is a Metacritic must play, which means by one, if Sean would have went the other way, he would have won. It was a 50-50 shot, and Cicero takes the win tonight. Anything to say to your fans?
I'm still here. The people's champ survives to be the champ again.
If Charles is listening, the throne has been taken back. We need you.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Charles.
No, it was a 50-50.
I didn't realize.
It was a good fight.
I didn't realize I could give your throne, Charles. My bad.
Right.
I would have made different choices.
Yeah.
Hey, 50-50 all the way. And that leads us into our leaderboard.
All right.
Also talking about Steam Deck here. the top 5 games we would want to play on Steam Deck. Cicero, go ahead. Since you won, you go ahead first.
So, games I would love to play on Steam Deck, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. That's just fun game. All those funds. Back in the box. Let's see. What else would I want to play on the Steam Deck? Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight would be a fun game to play on Steam Deck because it's goofy. Just for the memes, Elite Dangerous. I would love to see how the hell Elite Dangerous. Now, I mean, you can play Elite Dangerous with controllers, right? Like it's on consoles. So it'd be interesting to see how faithfully they've been able to remap those controls to the Steam Deck.
Sean, what 3 games would you like to have on Steam Deck or want to play on Steam Deck?
All right. I warned y'all it was about reading for me. So Heaven Will Be Mine.
Ooh.
Heaven Will Be Mine?
Yep.
Okay.
Crusader Kings 3.
Wow.
And a game that got ruined by my laptop screen breaking, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey.
I'm not even going to try to spell that, so you're going to
just SMT : Strange Journeys. Okay, that's how most people would do it.
I would love to see Crusader Kings 3 mapped to a controller.
Yep.
I've been playing Lost Ark still. I forgot to talk about that. So that game like really pushes the limits of. Matter of fact, it actually fails right at mapping all of your controls to a controller. Crusader Kings 3 makes Lost Ark feel like it was built for console. So
I just want to check to make sure this game's not on Steam. But with the news of Game Pass, it might be coming soon. But I'm going to check really quick here. What is Crusader King, actually? I haven't played that.
It is an RTS, like, baby simulator set in the Crusades.
Yeah, it's around the Crusades.
Yes. So, like...
It's like RTS, except you're not, like... there's the fighting isn't the main thing. It's, like, the court intrigue side of it, primarily.
Okay,
have you played BitLife on your phone?
Yeah.
Have you heard of this game?
Yeah, I've heard of BitLife.
So it's like if BitLife was an RTS, and like the Civilization games were less about fighting and more about the people.
Yes.
And what you could do with the people.
All right.
You know, I'm always here for the people.
Yeah. Yes. And it definitely satisfies Sean's need to read.
My first is going to be Civilization. We've had it on console. I want it portable. It's easier to just jump in, play a few turn-based rounds, and then jump out with good touch controls or with a good controller support. You have those ports to other consoles, but they're just not the same as playing the actual game.
Do you want the franchise, or do you have a particular one?
I would go with 5. I enjoyed 5 the most. 6 is good, but I just played so much of 5. Then I'm going to go with Hades. I know we talked about it earlier, but I want Hades to be portable with good quality. You can play it through xCloud. You can, I believe it's on Switch now.
It's on the Switch, yeah, for sure.
I definitely 100%. Want it to be good quality and handheld. And
are you sure Switch isn't good quality? I'm not, sorry. I just...
Not good
you didn't even know it was on Switch. How do you know if it was good or not?
It's just like the controller support as well. You want to play with an Xbox controller, and Steam Deck is very close to that, but you want the good frame rates and you want the good graphics. I just don't see Switch living up to that, especially if you're playing, on the go, wherever you want to go. It'll be beneficial.
Yep.
And then I want Left 4 Dead portable. I know Back 4 Blood is phenomenal, but I want Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 portable with friends, wherever you want to go. Lay in bed, play Left 4 Dead on your portable.
I actually like Left 4 Dead better than Back 4 Blood.
I thought with the comparison fight, you guys were going to go with Back 4 Blood and Left 4 Dead. That's a great pick for comparisons, but Left 4 Dead for sure. So Cicero, your must-have.
Ooh,
I'm gonna also go Left 4 Dead 2 because it has all of the first maps in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Guardians.
Okay. And Sean, your must-have.
Heaven Will Be Mine.
Okay. And mine will be Civilization 5 for sure.
Civ 5, okay.
What are we gonna fight over?
Oh, wait a minute. So, okay. Yeah, so, so I could have gone with the jokes, right? Like it would be funny to talk about Crusader Kings 3 and Elite Dangerous making their way to like how they would map on the controller. But Hades, I would obviously like just love to play Hades on a portable screen. I think that would actually translate pretty well. So I'm down with Hades. I would also say like the Left 4 Dead series, but Left 4 Dead is more fun with your friends. And like I don't know what I would assume that I don't know what Valve's communication solution is, but I would assume that it includes Bluetooth, unlike
I think it's already
Nintendo's.
It was announced on the Steam Deck. I believe Bluetooth was announced.
Yeah. So so as long I guess as long as you can have a headset and it works well, then Left 4 Dead the Left 4 Dead series would be my other one, but it's up to everybody else.
How do you feel about those, Sean? Hades or Left 4 Dead?
I would go with Hades. The reason I didn't pick that before was because I was just thinking like, it's already on the Switch. But as soon as you started talking about like controlling, especially with a main a key selling point of the Steam Deck is like, and like the Steam controllers in general is like customizability of controls and like accessibility and stuff. Right. Hades with more accessibility sounds rad. So. Okay.
And I want to fight for Left 4 Dead because, playing that in the portable sense, even if your friends aren't on the portable, but you are, just being able to relax and play with good controls, that would be sick to get it back in the swing of things. But I could also go with Hollow Knight because that's another quick, you can pop in and play and get out like Hades is, and that's what's good about the Steam Deck. You don't have to sit there for hours. You can do it in your spare time like the Switch. I think that it's something you could play really quick and get out, which is good.
I'm going to make the point for Elite Dangerous. We already have a Civilization game in there. We have like a proper like 4X RTS game in there on a small screen. Right. Like out the window with like what's possible here. I think Elite Dangerous, you can figure out a button combination between all those extra buttons.
There you go. I mean, it already exists, right? The mapping already exists for console. And the Steam Deck is essentially an Xbox controller.
Yeah, and also it probably exists for the Steam controller already, and from what I understand, there's a way to just like basically convert that, just put that on your Steam Deck anyway.
Right.
So.
The old flame for the fifth spot.
I never say no to some time and space. Really Dangerous is great, and you know what? There is a perfect use case for Elite Dangerous on something like a Steam Deck. Like Sean may have just sold me on a Steam Deck, right? Because like being able to do some of the more tedious things that you do in Elite Dangerous on a secondary screen, where it's a little bit more passive, is actually something that is attractive to me.
Are you talking about passive, like having it on your PC and the Steam Deck at the same time?
No. But like,
like the PlayStation did that with the PSP a while back.
No. So like being able to play Elite Dangerous, like there are times when you'll fly into a system and it'll take you 25 or 30 minutes in real time to get from where you are in the system to the station that you need to reach.
And then it's on autopilot.
And you could essentially either be on autopilot or you're just kind of flying around. To be able to do those things while watching TV or playing something else because I've got this on a portable screen is actually something where I'm like, oh yeah, that may make me jump back into Elite Dangerous a little bit more.
Okay, you sold me. It's good. I like No Man's Sky is I love it. So I haven't played Elite Dangerous, but it sounds like it's very similar.
Yeah.
All right,
it's
so that gives
more
it
nerdy than
more nerdy.
More nerdy than No Man's Sky.
So our list goes as follows in no particular order: Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Hopefully the quality stands up and keeps it going. Load times are slim to none. That'd be great. Heaven Will Be Mine, Civilization 5, Hades, and The Old Flame, Elite Dangerous, coming back in the running. That's our episode. We've got Cicero here, Sean here, and Cicero managed to win tonight. If you guys liked what you listened to or watched, me dying out over here, then leave us a review or a comment below. Give us a like and follow. We'll see you next week. From Cicero, Sean, this is Justin. Goodbye.
Peace.
Bye.
Hey, Sean, did you have something to plug?
I did.
What are you
I
plugging?
Did. You can finally
Plug it.
see me somewhere. You can finally find me somewhere on the internet.
Get out of here. Yeah, please. Let's
yeah.
find Sean.
For one weekend only. Yeah. It is March 4th through 6th. I am part of a Twitch community of tabletop game players that every year on our anniversary we run a 72-hour live stream collecting money for a charity that we like. This year it is Black and Pink, which does help with incarcerated people and people who have been just got out of jail. Trying to help temporary housing and transition into things, bail stuff, focusing people that are queer or with AIDS specifically, and they're nationwide. And we're going to be playing a bunch of cool tabletop RPGs, some of which the people on the stream have made themselves.
Wow!
And it's going to be a fun time.
All right. Well, where can we find?
Oh yeah, that's going to be at twitch.tv/roll+bond, all spelled out.
ROLE or ROLL?
ROLL, you're right, that is important. ROLLPLUSBOND.
All right, give it
There's
to us
also
one
a
more
Twitter
time.
account of the same name. Roll+bond, ROLL.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, from March 4th through the 6th on Twitch. All right, let's go.
That is huge for listeners and viewers alike. Sean is going to be on the internet 72 hours straight, tabletop RPGs for a good cause.
Make sure you hydrate.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be there the whole time, but
it's for a good cause, so you guys check it in.
Yeah. Check for it. All right.
Now
we're leaving. See you guys.
Yes. Yep.
bye.
Honk.
Honk.